Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel, where we break down everything happening in Dallas, the latest news, rumors, and insider reports that every Cowboys fan needs to hear. If you love the Cowboys and want to stay in the loop with everything from front office decisions to player reactions, hit that like button and subscribe because today we've got a big one to talk about. A $106 million free agent wide receiver has spoken out, and what he had to say about the Cowboys will have you shaking your head. This isn't just some minor complaint, it's a direct shot at the front office and a warning sign about how Dallas is handling its franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott. And let's be honest, Dak has taken a lot of heat over the years. But this might be the most eye-opening accusation yet about the Cowboys not doing enough to help him. So let's break it down. A high-profile free agent wide receiver who recently signed a massive contract worth $106 million, one of the biggest deals for a wide receiver this offseason, has basically come out and said that Dallas is not putting enough pieces around Dak to succeed. Now, we're not talking about a random analyst or some frustrated fan on Twitter. This is coming from a player who understands the league, the business, and what it takes to win at a high level. When you look at the Cowboys' recent moves, or rather the lack of them, you can start to understand where he's coming from. Let's talk about what Dallas has actually done to build around Dak Prescott. They have CeeDee Lamb, one of the top receivers in the league, no doubt about that. Brandon Cooks has been solid, but he's not a Roan. Michael Gallup was supposed to be a difference maker, but ever since that ACL injury, he hasn't quite been the same. The running game? Well, that took a massive hit when the Cowboys let Tony Pollard walk. Sure, they drafted Deuce Vaughn, but is he ready to carry a team? Can you really rely on a late-round rookie running back to be the difference maker in a championship run? Now, let's get back to this $106 million wide receiver and his comments. He didn't just say Dallas could do better, he flat out said they aren't doing enough. That's a direct indictment of the front office. And when you look at how teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and San Francisco 49ers have loaded up their offenses with playmakers, the contrast becomes even more apparent. Just take a second to compare what Dak Prescott has around him versus what Jalen Hurts has in Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift. That's an embarrassment of riches. And yet the Cowboys are sitting here with one elite wide receiver and a bunch of question marks. This isn't the first time we've heard a player speak out about the Cowboys' lack of aggressiveness when it comes to roster building. There's a reason why some of the best free agents never seem to end up in Dallas. While teams like the Rams, Chiefs, and Eagles are out there making splash moves, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office seem content to sit on their hands and say, "We like our guys." That mentality has kept the Cowboys competitive, sure, but has it made them a real Super Bowl threat? And let's talk about Dak Prescott for a second. This is a guy who has carried this franchise on his back, dealing with injuries, coaching changes, and inconsistent rosters. Yet every year, he's expected to go out there and perform at a high level with limited support. The Cowboys' defense is one of the best in the league, and that's great. But in today's NFL, you need firepower on offense. The days of winning with just defense are over. If you can't put up points against teams like the 49ers, Eagles, or Chiefs, you're not going anywhere in the playoffs. So let's be real here. If you're Dak Prescott, how do you feel about this? You've got a guy who just signed a massive contract, speaking openly about how your team isn't doing enough for you. That's got to be frustrating. And it makes you wonder, what does the future hold for Dak in Dallas? Because, let's not forget, he's got contract negotiations coming up, and if the Cowboys aren't fully committed to giving him the weapons he needs, could we see a future where Dak isn't wearing the star anymore? This is where things get really interesting. We've seen franchise quarterbacks leave their teams before when they felt they weren't being supported. Look at Tom Brady leaving New England, Aaron Rodgers finally moving on from Green Bay, and even Russell Wilson forcing his way out of Seattle. Could Dak Prescott be the next big-name quarterback to move on? And if that happens, who do the Cowboys have waiting in the wings? Trey Lance? Cooper Rush? Neither of those guys is leading this team to a Super Bowl anytime soon. The frustration is building not just with fans, but seemingly within the league itself. Players talk. They notice when a franchise is being proactive versus when a franchise is just coasting. And the fact that a big-name receiver is publicly calling out the Cowboys says a lot. It says that people around the league see what's happening and know that Dak Prescott deserves more. Now, let's talk solutions. What can the Cowboys actually do to fix this? The obvious answer is to go out and sign or trade for another elite weapon. DeAndre Hopkins was available. Mike Evans could have been had. But the Cowboys didn't make a move. The draft was another opportunity to go all in on offense. But did they really address their biggest needs? It feels like every offseason, Dallas makes moves that are just good enough to keep them competitive, but not enough to actually get them over the hump. The frustrating part is that the Cowboys have the pieces to be great. They have an elite defense, a top-tier receiver in CeeDee Lamb, a solid offensive line, and a quarterback who, despite what some critics say, has been consistently one of the best in the league. But without the right supporting cast, even the best quarterbacks can struggle. Just look at Josh Allen in Buffalo when they had no weapons outside of Stephon Diggs. Look at Justin Herbert last season when his receivers were constantly injured. Even Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league, needed Travis Kelce and a creative offense to win. So where do the Cowboys go from here? That's the million-dollar question. Does Jerry Jones finally break his pattern and make a bold move? Does the front office wake up and realize that they need to go all in while Dak is still in his prime? Or do they continue playing it safe and risk wasting another year of a championship window that is closing fast? Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. Do you agree with this wide receiver's comments? Do you think Dallas is failing Dak Prescott? And what moves do you think they need to make to fix it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this conversation going. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with everything happening in Cowboys Nation, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We'll be keeping a close eye on this situation, because if this frustration continues to build, we could be looking at major changes coming to Dallas, sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!